Lorraine here, back again to show you something I've been thinking about. Doing a video on creating your own stamps. Very cost effective and a lot of fun to do, and can be used in a variety of your art projects. And all you're going to need for this is, believe it or not, this is wool insulation. It's very light. You get it in Home Depot or Lowe's. And it comes, some of them come with a piece of plastic, so you have to look for that and you peel it off. And you're going to need kids' foam, but the sticky kind. You peel the back off, it sticks, and we're going to cut our shapes out of this kids' foam and place it on the insulation board. You're going to need a cutter, and that's to cut up the insulation board into the shapes that you might like, and perhaps a pencil. And so let me just show you some of the stamps that I have already created. This is simple, with just simple hearts. I cut out free form. All these are basically done from my imagination. I'm just going to show you how simple it is to do it. Beautiful, and the results are beautiful. Okay, so you get your foam. Now you can draw shapes on the back randomly, anything you wish. I don't usually do that. What I do is I just randomly begin to cut shapes. And I just, I really don't think too much about it. I would advise you too that not to make the shapes too small. And when I mean too small, I mean just like a bitsy. Because when you go to ink them, sometimes they don't show up very nicely on your work. It might just show up like a blob of paint. All right, now I have two shapes here actually that I'm looking at it that I could actually get out of this. So, and you cut up more than what you really think you're going to need, because you play with it afterwards in making a composition on your stamp. And here's another shape, just came out of that. And then I'm going to make perhaps some smaller pieces. This seems to be turning out to be more of an organic shapes. But of course, I'm not crazy about the point. That's just me. Some of these I like to round off a little bit. Just take your time and just enjoy it. Cut up a few more pieces just to show you. Sometimes it helps just to cut them into smaller pieces so that it's easier to cut. Do that a little bit different. Maybe more of a geometric shape. All right. I'll cut one or two more up for you. I'm going to shut my camera off and I will cut up a few more pieces and then I'll be back. Okay, so I finished cutting out some random shapes, and now all we're going to do is play with it, just like we're making a piece of art. Think about what appeals to you, composition, and maybe repetition and shapes, or not necessarily. it's totally up to you. I'm going to see how some of these pieces might and of course you don't stick these down until you make your choice on what you want to do. And see, I have some of very similar shapes. Repeat maybe some of the ovals. Have a few more of the ovals here. I don't know, I think that might work for me. Just like that. And so all we're going to do is to peel the paper off the back. And I want to mention while I'm doing this, they last a very long time, these stamps. I mean, they take a lot of abuse. And they clean up beautifully. I use Murphy's oil. And I even use a sponge with a rough back on it to scrub, you know, if I need to. I use sometimes alcohol to get some of the paint off. But the paint comes off very easily. And so when you make a stamp, you really have a nice collection that can accumulate to use in your projects. So that's basically it. And then we're going to go on. I am going to do a project at the end of the video so that you can see for yourself how these stamps are used. Right? You want to see that, I'm sure. And I would enjoy creating something for you or with you. All right, so here we go. All done. Okay, so I left for a bit just to organize my workspace and just wanted to show you the various things you can stamp on. You can stamp on fabric. This is wallpaper from a wallpaper book. These pieces are actually the wax paper from the wax paper videos that I've done. And you can stamp over stamps. So you can stamp over your jelly prints as well, or any other papers that you might have that have paint on them already. Now I'm just going to pick one of these to work with. And I think I'm going to try this stripe, believe it or not. I kind of like this, but I think it would look nice with a print on top of it. And I'm looking at these stamps, and I think I'm going to use this one. And it's a matter of color, so I think I'm going to use turquoise. And I wanted to mention too, I'm going to place this piece of rubber foam. It's a little thicker than the one I used for the stamps, underneath my papers, because you do get a better stamp that way. And what I'm going to do now is I have a styrofoam plate here. I'm going to throw my paint onto the styrofoam plate, and I'm going to use a brayer to apply my paint. I'm going to just smooth it out. And I'm going to spray it with a tiny little bit of water to keep it moist so that, because it's acrylic, that doesn't dry up that fast. And I try to smooth it out a little bit. I don't want any globs or anything like that, so I try to go over it. And then I'm going to take my paper that I chose with the foam underneath, and let's see what happens. I don't know. You do have turquoise here, so we'll see. We'll see. We're going to just try it. I could do it this way, or I could do it this way. I think I'm going to do it this way. Okay? And you just press, press into your, this helps quite a bit, that piece of foam. And let's hope for the best. Yeah, I like that. That's really pretty. So I'm going to put on a little bit more paint again. And let's cover the whole paper. Yeah. Just apply that on the bottom. Just to get a lot of nice coverage. Okay. So I think that's rather pretty. And I'll hold it up for you to see. A little bit better. Well, I have a piece of fabric here. How about if we try that? That might be interesting. And let's do, well, how about a little, how about a lot of black. And I'm using styrofoam plates so it's clean because, I'm trying to use various colors for you and it's easier. So I'm going to put my paint down, and I have a clean brayer. Doesn't matter which size you use. Just roll it out. And then I'm going to spritz it with my water. A tad. Don't make it too thin. All right. I'm going to use another stamp on this, of course, just for interest. I have this one here, and I'm going to use this. Sort of goes with the design in the back of this fabric. And I thought it might work out very well. So let's just see how we do that. And then, again, we're going to stamp. Use it that way. Press, 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 press. Oh, I really wonder what this is going to look like. That's gorgeous. Love it. And so let's do that again. Now this is a little phased out here. Now, it really is not a problem. But if you felt that you wanted to, get a better image there, you could press it down. You see what happened there? I got it pretty good. I lined it up. And again, that's fabric, so that should make a very interesting, maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking a greeting card. But of course you could do anything with it. Yeah, okay. All right, so very pretty. And then, how about we just try one more? All right, it's just a plain piece of wax paper that's been painted. I'll use some bronze. Okay, and I will spritz it with a little water. And I kind of thought this might be interesting, this stamp here. So let's just go very lightly over it. All right, well, let's just see how that works out. Huh? Let's do it that way. Cover the whole thing. Very interesting. Okay, let's do it again. And I thought I would try to apply the stamp again. Yeah, just to make it a little more painterly. And I'm okay with this distorting the image. To me, the turquoise coming through is still beautiful. Okay. And we'll finish the last part. And I think with this one, I don't know, I'm thinking that I might like to print over this with black. So in fact, I am going to do that. To make it a little more dramatic. I'm taking a chance, but you know what? That's what happens. You take chances with these things. I'm using the same stamp. Interesting paper. Oh my. I even like that. I like the speckled look. That's really about it. So I think you got the idea. And what I'm going to do is clean up and come back and we're going to do a project together. Okay? See you later. Bye. Okay, so while I was gone, I'm going to do 3 cards. While I was gone, I cut out 2 shapes and used this one in particular. It doesn't matter what size it is. You have to determine that. The size had to do with the way it's going to leave a border around my papers. So you could make them even smaller, or you can even layer your papers and make them different sizes. But I'm going to show you, so hopefully that will be helpful. Now, the first card, cut the fabric. Let me move this aside. Cut the fabric into the size that I just showed you. Just cut it on a cutter. And I cut out, I looked at my papers to see what would be flattering. I didn't want to waste a lot of time to do it right in front of you, so this is what I chose, these 2 pieces, and some embellishments. And I will say at this point too that all the cards I'm going to show you right now have an embellishment on them. But this one, which is quite beautiful, had no embellishment on it at all. So if you can't find things to put on your cards, anything that you like, or you just, for whatever reason, you're not satisfied, or you can't find something, really pretty, you can just cut up papers and make a collage. You can see how beautiful it is. Turns out beautiful anyway. Okay? So, and all you're going to do, and I eyeball it, I don't measure, I just eyeball it. You're just going to apply your glue on the back. I'm using a soft gel gloss, but you can use anything. I would suggest using something heavier if it's a heavier piece that you want. This is fabric, so it is a little heavier, so that's why I decided to use this soft gel, because it will hold better. And you just apply it nice. I open my card up, hold it flat, there's wax paper under here, just to keep my table free of the glue. Then I can throw the wax paper out in a minute. And you just apply a little bit, especially in your center, always is so important. I looked at the way I wanted to hold it, depending on the design, and I decided to put it this way. And we just bear it out for good adhesion. Okay, so that's my first layer on this card. I'm going to put a book on this later. All right, now this is my second layer, and so you can layer them or you can use a single layer. That's totally up to you. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. I tried to do each card a little bit different so you get an idea of the variety of ways that you could handle this. Right now on this, I did pick out two pieces that I thought would look really nice. So before I decided on how I want to, if I want to turn this around or leave it as it is, I just want to play with this a tiny little bit. I see this leading into this, so I kind of, that's what's influencing me. And this little here and this here and this here is all kind of leading into the embellishment. So I'm going to turn it over. And again. Just get that on as liberally as I can. Place it. Before I press it down, see if this works here under here. I can see that I should have put the glue on this first, so I will just pick it up. All right. And I'm fine with that. I like that. All right. So there's your card. I will put this aside, and I am going to put something heavy on here. And in this piece, I decided to add some of the cut off pieces from another stamped paper that I had created in more of a yellow tone. So, there we go. Let's turn it over. Let me move the paper out of the way so it's nice and clean. And how do I want this? Now, I like this embellishment very much. All right, now with this piece, I thought I would add some of the yellow to give it a little pizzazz. And I thought I saw a ridge in here, and I was thinking about it. I said, I wonder if I would like to bring this paper to the surface. And I think I might like to do that. And I would just, I think, do it that way. I just kind of like it that way, I think. Play with it a little. And I still like that squared off edge, so I'm going to trim that. Going to trim that just a little bit more on an angle. And I think it looks better. It looks better. Okay, so first I will adhere the papers. And now I will put on the takes a while to dry the heavy gel, but when it does dry, it's there to stay. Okay, and then piece of paper here. I don't know what I did with that. Oh, here it is. Do I want to add this? Do I want to add it? Yes, I do. I want to add it. I think it's important to bring the pattern to the top in this particular instance. So getting the adhesive on the paper. And deciding on which way I want it. Okay, so that's number 2. And I will move that card aside. I'm going to do this third card. Now this one is just using one piece of paper. There's no additional papers added to this at all. I think the paper is just beautiful. You remember we did stamp that together. Okay. Again, which way do I want to orientate it? And I like, truthfully, I like this swirl here in that corner. So that's what I'm going to do. Put this out here. Okay, now my power did go off just before I finished this card. And what I did afterwards was take this embellishment and simply glued it on with an extra heavy gel. Okay, because it's very heavy. But anyway, now completed, I would so appreciate it if you would leave a comment, ask me any question that you wish, a share, and of course, if you've never watched my videos before, you can subscribe. I would be very happy to have you join me for my other videos and some videos to come. So thank you again for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again. Bye now.